you know how people struggle, right, with their events? Number one, to fill the event. Number two, the freebie seekers. Number three, the tire kickers, right? These are big problems that stump a lot of people when they're doing any business, but events specifically, because you want to have engaged people in your space, right? So, who has ever experienced tire kickers, right? Somebody that comes down your pipeline, yeah, and they're pretending that they want to do stuff, but they don't do it. In the event space, it's usually people that aren't engaging, they're not, taking notice, they're not aware. And freebie seekers, right? Freebie seekers. That's one of the hardest ones. Who's ever had a whole room full of freebie seekers? All they want to extract free information from you, and then they disappear into the ether, never to be seen again. Heartbreaking, right? I have been working with clients over the last while, and one of the key things that we've been doing is elevating the quality of the room. So, you guys know what is one of the biggest struggles, right? You know how people struggle with avatar uncertainty. Does anyone ever struggle with avatar uncertainty? Who's my target audience? Who's the people that I'm serving? Who am I not serving, right? Avatar uncertainty is such a huge problem, in that if that hits you, this is how much of an impact it has on your business, right? This is what's happening. So imagine, right, we have over here, there's your target, right? Say that's your perfect avatar. That's the person that you want to attract. What happens is avatar uncertainty, I'll just call it AU for short, avatar uncertainty. Here's the thing, right? If you want the message to hit the target, you have to have a certain series of what? Words. Let me say words in the chat, right? Words are what connects with your audience, words. So there's a series of words that you put together that attracts your target audience. When you have avatar uncertainty, what it does is it distorts your message, right? And what we get is message distortion. And so because of the uncertainty, what happens, people start making up things, or they guess, or they wonder, maybe this will work, or maybe that will work, or maybe that thing will happen. And message distortion is the most, I don't want to spell right, is one of the most expensive things in your business, because as we've discussed, the wrong message costs you money. And so what happens is, when you get avatar uncertainty, when you're not clear on your avatar, what happens is your message is going up here, right? And that's coming down here, right? And it's missing the mark. You guys understand that one word that I was using in my real estate in the business, one word, financial freedom, retire early, had such a dramatic impact in conversions, right? It's the word, I call this word engineering, or the word sequencing that you use, that makes a difference in your business, right? You guys with me on that? Then the other thing is that Leah knows that how other people, there's a lot of people that struggle with being hidden, being obscure, right? Not standing out in the competition, right? So you're in this market or whatever segment, and you're trying to stand out. Color we use here, right? This is what amateurs do. Who knows what amateurs do? Right? This color here. I'm just going to use this as a quick analogy, right? This is what amateurs do. What do amateurs do? They try to serve who? What is the biggest mistake you can make? You can't serve everybody. Everyone is not your client, right? Because this is what amateurs do. They try to serve everyone. Whereas your market share is the little blue dots, right? Your people are the little blue dots. So all of the black and the red dots are people that will never do business with you. The red dots are never going to do business with you. The black dots might. All right? So I want you to think about this for a second. Two very important aspects I want you to understand. Imagine this is a pan of popcorn. Right? Imagine this is a pan of popcorn. Who knows that some popcorn pops faster than other popcorn? Right? So if you're a marketer, you need to understand this popcorn analogy because it's super important. Some people take a long time to warm up. They take sometimes months, even years to warm up. I've had clients that have been in my space for literally years before they're taking action. So, number one, we're in a popcorn pan and it takes a while to warm up people. Number two, this is what the pros do. This is a very important lesson that I've just learned, that I learned over the last few years, is that what the pros do is this. This is what I've done. Is circle of influence. You need to create a circle of influence. And this is where the social media comes in, right? You can do it the hard way or the easy way. I'm going to show you the easy way. But what it means is that you're creating a circle of influence where you have all of your people, right, in your sphere who are engaged, who are watching your stuff over and over and over again. Right? When you can engineer this, this is where the magic happens, right? You guys with me? Amateurs try to serve everyone, right? Pros create a circle of influence. Now, you could call this a niche, whatever you want to call it. These days, I don't think that the word niche really suits because we have so many people doing so many different things. You want the right people, right? You don't want to have a specific need. You want the right people with a certain need that you can service. You guys with me on that? So obscurity comes from this. It's simply trying to serve everyone. When you create a circle of influence, you can stand out. And then finally, you know, so many people, right, are wasting money on advertising black holes. They put money in ads, they get no return out of it, right? They get no return out of it because there's this old paradigm that we've been taught, and it looks like this. So we've been told that marketing, sales, clients. Something like that. We've been told for decades or since the beginning of time that our clients come down a funnel, right? We've been told that a funnel is the way to do business. However, that is no longer true, right? Your clients are not coming linearly anymore. You want to waste a lot of money? Look at your business as a linear way of getting clients. And that's why running ads straight to conversions is going to burn you a lot of money, right? Don't try and copy what Russell Brunson and Eileen and all of them are doing because it doesn't work at a smaller budget. Now, they've got millions of dollars they can spend on advertising. We got to think a little bit smarter. And it doesn't happen linearly. How it happens is it looks like this. Our market runs in a flywheel. Right? They're going around. They're looking at your socials. They need to see you. How many times do people need to see you these days? Anyone have an idea? Give me a shout out in the chat if you know how many times people have to, how many touch points? 28, yeah. I would say 28 is probably round about where we're at these days. I kid you not. It's crazy. Who knows how long it's going to take you if you go on social media and try and get 28 touch points if you're posting organically.
Do you want to just clarify what a touch point is, just to give context?
I was taught 7. Yeah, it's crazy. It's gone up. I would be aiming for 28. Like the more you can get in front of people, it's just where it's at right now. So touch point is when somebody sees you visually, right? They see you and they see either post of you doing something of value. They do a post where they engage with you. Maybe it's a like. Maybe they watch 50% of your video, right? They've seen your stuff. And the more times they see your stuff, the better. What I like this. If I go down the end here, where is this? If anyone ever read the book Influence by Robert Cialdini? Yeah. If you haven't read the book, he's got a new book out now which talks about the stuff that's happening on the internet. But one of the key ingredients, like he talks about how we can influence people, one of the key ingredients that he talks about, and he repeats this a few times, is likability. Likability. And one of the things in his new book he talks about is that the more you show up in front of people, the more psychologically they like you. Funny. They don't even have to like you as in meet you. They start liking you because they've seen you so many times providing value, right? Very, very important ingredient. And so we go back here. Our whole world is now circular. It's a flywheel, right? And so people are going around and they need to see you multiple times and they need to do these interactions with you. You guys tracking with me? Where we're heading with this is super, super cool. So we want to, number one, these are the things we're going to hack. We're going to get message dialed in, super important. We want to create a circle of influence, right? And we want to create a flywheel effect that we're engineering so that people can see us over and over and over again. And we want to obviously keep our costs down, right? You guys don't want to lose money. You want to make money, right? You with me? Awesome. So that's why I created this Dragon ad system, right? There's 3 core parts. Now, these are the steps that you would take. These aren't the actual systems, but these are the steps. So there's testing, there's messaging, there's scripting. Who knows that if you have the great script, a lot of overwhelm is taken away from you, right? If you just got a script and you were like, I just have to read the script, and you read the script, it makes life so much easier rather than trying to think, what do I say in my video? What do I put first, right? So we're going to work on scripts. We've got to create a script. Then we're going to do it. We're going to attract. I'm going to show you how we're going to attract people. We're going to build authority, right? You raise your authority up. Then you're going to get cash flow. Cash flow is self-liquidation. I'll zoom in here so you guys can see it. Cash flow is self-liquidation. We want to be able to make our ads pay us back. Then we're going to go, once you've got your ads, your whole business, we're going to optimize it, we're going to stabilize it, and then we're going to look at how we can safely scale without losing control. As Bill was mentioning before, sometimes you scale, whoa, it gets a bit much, right? You want to be in control when you're scaling. Well, maybe some of you are not worried too much about scaling, but we're going to get this model happening. So imagine this, right? Go here. So what this system is going to do for you is, imagine you got your expenses, right? Everybody has expenses, your software cost, your advertising, all of that, right? So we can imagine that this line here is your expense. And I'm not sure where you're starting from. Maybe you're starting up here anything above this line, right? Above this line is profit. Anything below this line, you're spending more than what you're making, right? So let's just assume that for argument's sake, we're starting right at the bottom, right? So what this system will do is we're going to be working out like this. So over time, you've got to build out an ads campaign and you've got to start getting results. So initially, your ads may or may not be making you some money, but you're going to, why is it doing that? You're going to start getting some traction, right? And so over time, as you start building this up, you get to a point where you break even. Your ads cost and the ads cost and the money you're getting back will be at a break even point, right? That doesn't happen straight away. You guys understand that you've got to put effort in to getting a result. All right, I'm going to show you an easy way to do this, but you still have to put the effort in. There's no way of doing it other than to put in effort. Then we're going to get you to this point here. So my role is to get you to 100K consistently, right? That's what we're working towards. Now, in my business, I made a big mistake, and Bill highlighted this before. I went and scaled too quickly, right? That's what caused me burnout. I couldn't keep up with the momentum. So at this point, right, you guys are going to make a decision. You can either go and continue, right? Your expenses will also come up a bit here, but you can continue stabilized, or you can decide to scale, right? This is where what we're trying to get you to create this consistency, 100K with your events. You guys with me on that? You guys want that? When you get to this point, there is a whole, like this model will get you to where we're going now. When you want to go to the next level, there's a whole lot more that you need to consider, and then you need to bring in teams. You need to have the infrastructure to support you to scale. But for now, getting to this place, this system that I'm going to show you, is pretty straightforward. There's not much work and energy needed to just, all you need, sorry, let me rephrase that. There is work and energy needed, but most importantly is consistency. Right? You just tip away and doing the same thing over and over and over again, and then the results start coming. You guys with me on that? So that's what we're aiming for in this whole system. Right. So the core ingredient. Now you guys will get this in the workbook. I don't know if you can see this. I'll draw it out so you can see it better. But there are four components to this, 4 campaigns that we will run. You'll start out with 4 campaigns, and then you'll go to a few more as you decide to do this. So this diagram you'll have in the workbook, and it tells you exactly how to set up your accounts and structure your ads, right? Talks about targeting, talks about everything. I know can you see this clearly, guys, or not really? Not really. Okay, I'll draw this so we can care. But if I zoom in here, so just for the sake of simplicity, I've called them top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom funnel, and nurture, right? Just so you understand what's happening. So top of funnel, you'd set up a top of funnel ad, which is your attraction ad. And it tells you what types of content you would put in there. And then, so we're going to talk about top of funnel. We're going to talk about dragon ad. This is your middle of funnel, right? This is where you get your ticket sales and registrations, right? This happens in this area. Then bottom of funnel, this is pre-event. Right, so running into your event is very unique. With events, it's a little bit different. Bottom of funnel doesn't typically work on a standard ad setup. Bottom of funnel will work though with events because you're only turning them on 2 or 3 days prior to your event, or 4 days or 5 days. So you're turning these on and off. But they're going to be typically kind of static ads, and they'll be motivational and encouragement, like fear of missing out, that kind of stuff. And then we have wrapped around this nurture, right? Let me draw this in a diagram for you so you understand. This is how you create your circle of influence, right? So you got top of funnel ads, one ad. Don't have to overthink it, right? One ad, one campaign, right? We do this with AI, so it's easy to do. Then you got the bottom of funnel. All right, there's the middle of funnel, bottom of funnel. Now I'm only using these as funnel components because I'm trying to paint an analogy so you understand there's different levels that we're firing here, right? And then we're going to wrap around a nurture campaign. So if I go, and we'll call this nurture. This is the first key ingredient, right? So nurture is your circle of influence. Now, top of funnel ads, we use things like engagements, video views, clicks. Don't overthink it too much. You can start off with engagement or just video views, whatever it is, and you're bringing people into your world, all right? You're starting out the conversation. That was the very first thing that I did. I started doing these top of funnel ads. I already had middle of funnel ads, so they were kind of okay, but I've improved that over time. And then I didn't run bottom of funnel ads, but I'm doing it now because of events. It now creates the last push to get people into your funnel. And then you got 1 ad, 2 ads, maybe 3 ads. This is optional, by the way. And then 4 campaigns. That's the simplest way to start. So what you do is, right, this guy, are you guys getting me? Are you guys with me so far? Right? It's not very complicated. It's very simple. If you're doing stuff on social media right now, and your page, and you've got like, I don't know, 10, 15 people have liked that video or that thing, guess what? You stick it there. You now can get people watching it, and you're going to retarget about 50% of them. So anyone that's watched a video, 50%. Now I want to ask this question. If somebody's watched one of your videos, say it's 3 minutes long, and they watched a minute and a half of that video, do you think they're they're interested or not? Yeah, if they're interested. If they watched, some will watch 100%. If they watched at least a minute and a half, they've sat there and watched a minute and a half of you on social media without scrolling, that's like an eternity. Like it's a long time. So if you do your video strategically, with different lengths, and you're retargeting people that have watched 50% of your video, boom, they're a warm audience. Then if you're running middle of funnel ads, and somebody's watched your middle funnel for 10 seconds, right? They're super engaged. When somebody's got an ad in front of them and they've watched at least 10 seconds of that, they're engaged. They've got something. They're either going to click on it or they're going to do something, because that's even an eternity on the internet when they're looking at an ad. So you're going to retarget them. Then you add to that over time, and then people are going to go to your landing page, right? Anyone that clicks any of your links, they go to your landing page. That's another touch point that you retarget. So all of these touch points now are building your circle of influence. You've brought people into your world. Now all you have to do is keep showing up. So now you do another post on your social, right? Cool post. You go, boom, what am I going to do with that social post? You put it in here, your nurture campaign. Then you got another post, nurture, nurture, nurture. You keep putting posts into your nurture. So you go one top of funnel ad that's bringing people in, and then you're showing up and you're nurturing them over and over and over again. The cost for this is super cheap. Like for pennies, you get this whole thing going, this engine's working. But then, I didn't know this at the time, that's what was drawing down my ads cost. That wasn't really creating the impact. It's because I was bringing people in, they were interested in my content, right? Likes, engaged posts, and they were seeing my stuff over and over again. At that stage, I didn't really have too much nurture happening. I just had top of funnel mostly happening, but now I have nurturing, and it's crazy. Like I'm getting super engaged feedback in this bottom of funnel, this nurture phase. Like people are super like clicking, liking, commenting, going through all my stuff, right? I'm showing up over and over and over again. Does that make sense to you guys? You literally just need to have one good top of, and over time, you follow my system, we add a few, and we do a few tweaks at the top there. But in the beginning, as you're growing this, like I've been doing this for 1 week, maybe 2 weeks. I had a lot of tech issues before we launched this new offer. 1 week, and I've already got about 8,000 people in my sphere. How long will you think it would take you to build an email list of 8,000? I've done it in 2 weeks. And it's cost me something like $200, $300, $400. Do you guys understand the power of this? Like it's insane. You want to stand out from the crowd, you build yourself your own circle of influence. And it's the people that are engaging with you, the people that are seeing your stuff. And you keep them. You just, for a few pennies, you just keep them in your world. And then you watch as your ad cost comes down, as you manage this middle of funnel section, and you get better results.